trigger warning, TMI, I don't have a love life. Oh my days, I want to show someone that you're interested. The best way is, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Nisha Rogers, and if you're new here, I basically post fashion, lifestyle and beauty content. So if that's your vibe, you're welcome to stay. But if you're here for today's video, we're going to be doing a girl talk. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. Okay, so I took my hair out from behind my ear, and also I have my questions written down on my laptop, so if I'm looking over here, you know why. So the first question is how to deal with fake friends. I went to an all-girls school, so I can talk on this situation, like you can trust me. So I feel like the older you get, the more you realize that it's actually the quality of the friendships over the quantity. Because I feel like back in school I was this way. Like obviously you watched all the movies and you saw like the popular girls and you were like, oh my gosh, I want to have like so many friends. And in primary school, or like, what do you guys call it over there in America, preschool, pre-K, whatever you guys call it, but back in like the younger years, you're friends with everyone comes to your birthday party, so you're so used to that, and you feel like once you get to like high school, secondary, you're like, oh my gosh, like I only have like 3 friends, I need more. So then you kind of put up with nonsense like fake friends. But trust me, cut them off as soon as you can, because it will only just get worse. It will only just get worse. And I'm gonna give you an example. So I was friends with this one girl, and it was always a thing where if we were in the presence of boys, she would talk down on you and she'd be like, oh well, have you seen how she looks without makeup, or you know that Nisha does blah 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 and stuff like that. And I'm just like, first of all, why would you do that? And it even got to the point where she would take bad pictures of you on purpose, like let's say my eyes are closed, mouth's open, teeth are all on show, and then she'll post it on her main Snapchat story. And this was like back in peak Snapchat time, so everyone was watching it, and you'll be getting like thousands of views on your story. And I'm just like, why would you do it? Because I would never do that to you. Like I've always been that considerate person where it's like, oh, like does everyone look good before I post this? So it got to a point where I realized, yeah, no, I can't do this friendship anymore. And even like I'm speaking as if I did it in like right there and then, but no, I actually didn't. It took me quite a while. And even though like it's not going to be the easiest thing, especially if you were like really good friends with these people to begin with, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever find like another friendship like them, or I don't know if I'll like grow closer to people the same way that I did with them. Trust me, you have so much time, and like you have so many years ahead, that you will find new friends that you'll be close with, like better friends that are going to be there for you, like to better you as a person. So why should you put up with stupid people? So no. The next question is how to deal with mental health. I want to start off by saying that I've always been so fortunate that I haven't really struggled with my mental health. I would say my mental health gets bad when it's around like exam seasons, and I'm known to not deal with stress well. And the way that I deal with stress is like I would just completely switch off. If you are struggling with I'm going off on a tangent. If you are struggling with your mental health, I'm studying learning disability nursing currently at university, so we do a lot of work and we learn more about mental health, so I feel like I'm a lot more educated in it than I previously was. So if you're struggling with like depression, anxiety and all this other stuff, trust me, even though you may not want to, having that one person that you can speak about, that you can go to and be like, I'm feeling depressed or I'm feeling anxious about this, really does help. Because sometimes you just need to speak about things out loud. And even like with anxieties, like sometimes I can get anxious about things, and literally just speaking about it out loud, like being like, why am I anxious to do X, Y and Z? Like for example, if you're anxious to leave the house, be like, what is it that's making you anxious to leave the house? And you'd be like, oh, I feel like everyone is going to be staring at me once I go outside. And you'd be like, but why would everyone be staring at you? And then it's just kind of that thing where if you walk yourself through certain things, it could kind of help you with your mental health. And also if we're talking like decline in mental health in terms of social media, you can kind of start to withdraw yourself from the things that are causing your bad mental health. Like for example, if you posted a TikTok video and it's getting a lot of hate at the moment, and that's just really badly affecting your mental health, maybe take a step back from that and be like, hey, you know what, I'm not going to go on TikTok for 2 days, and I'm just going to kind of like come back into touch with reality and like realize, because the thing is with social media, you need to kind of look at it like it's not real, like, because realistically, would all these people, these thousands of people come up to you in your face and tell you all of this? No, they wouldn't. So it's just like, you shouldn't really let that get to you. And I know it's easier said than done, trust me. But yeah, and if you do really feel like your mental health is really badly declining, do go seek help. Don't keep it to yourself, because there's so many negative things that come as a consequence of bad mental health. So honestly, seek all the help that you need to get it treated. But let's see the next question. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but the next question is, how do you deal with insecurities? Everyone has insecurities, so never feel like you're the only person. And I do feel like with the rise of like social media and TikTok and everything, there's more insecurities becoming of that. So for example, I know one of the like new insecurities is like everyone's comparing themselves to like Kylie Jenner's shoulders. As you can tell, I do not have like the perfect shoulders or whatever. So like some insecurities you can kind of, again, like what I was talking about, like talk yourself through it and be like, is this a valid insecurity? And some insecurities come as a consequence of us staring at ourselves like all the time. So for example, if you're always in the mirror doing your makeup, or if you're always looking at yourself in the mirror, you're gonna like be like, oh my gosh, I feel like my nose is slightly bigger, or I feel like my face is like getting fatter, I feel like I need this done, I feel like I need that done. And then also you see like people like, I love her, but people like Leah Houghton, however you pronounce her name, who got the 800 million views on TikTok. Like you see people like her and you're like, oh, I don't look like her, and you try like recreate the video and you're like, oh, I don't look like her, mine isn't blowing up at the same time. And I feel like, what's that saying, comparison is a thief of joy. And it's just like, you, as again, it's easier said than done, but try not to compare yourself to people on social media. So when it does come to dealing with insecurities, I feel like a lot of people talk about saying affirmations in the mirror. So as cringe as it may sound, like sometimes actually wake up, go into the mirror and be like, I look very beautiful today. Or even if it's just during the day, be like, I look very beautiful today, and give yourself a compliment. Be like, oh, I really like my hair today, or you've got really nice eyebrows, or you've got really nice lips, and so on. And also, I remember Kendall Jenner was talking about this, and she said that she got this from TikTok, and she'll get a picture of herself as a baby or like quite young, and she'll put it on her mirror. So every time she goes to look in the mirror and thinks about saying anything negative to herself, she looks at the picture of her as a child, as a baby, whatever, and says, would you really want your 10-year-old or like 5-year-old self hearing the things that you say about yourself? Because we are our own worst critics, and I'm guilty of this. Like sometimes I'll be in the mirror and I'll be like, I feel like I look so ugly today. But if I was to say that to my 10-year-old self, I would cry. Like that is such a heartbreaking thing to say. And especially having younger sisters, I never want my sisters to feel insecure, because honestly they're the most beautiful people in the world. And also try not to let other people's opinions try not to let other people's opinions, well, I can't think of the word. Basically, don't let other people make up how you should perceive yourself. So for example, if we're taking a boy, don't let, just because a boy called you ugly and like all of a sudden you're ugly, no you're not, because he's probably being stupid anyways, and he's just trying to say anything that will hurt your feelings. But yeah, let's not go on to a tangent, because I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, men are this, men are that. So yeah, let's see the next question. Oh yeah, this kind of ties into what we were speaking about. So the next question is how to stop yourself from how to stop comparing yourself to people on social media. I really don't know, because I can sit here and tell you guys, like, try not to follow these people, try not to see these people. And I feel like you can control it on Instagram compared to TikTok, because TikTok, obviously your For You page generates itself technically, whereas on Instagram I can be like to you guys, like, just don't follow people that don't look like yourself. And this really does help, because I've tried to do this a lot more, like try not to follow people that don't really look like me. Of course I'll follow other people, but I'll follow them because I really like their style, or I really like their personality and stuff like this. And I won't just follow them because I find them really pretty, because sometimes looking at people that you find really pretty that don't look like you will make you feel bad about yourself, and you'll be like, oh, like, well, she's very beautiful, like she's the epitome of beauty, so who am I compared to her, sort of thing. So if you have people with similar features to you, a similar skin tone to you, and all of this, it really does help with that comparing yourself sort of thing. And again, like, stopping comparing yourself to people on social media, as I said, like, it's very hard on apps like TikTok, but honestly, like, yeah, I don't really know what to say today. If anyone figures that out, let me know. But yeah, so the next question is how to feel confident in your body. At the end of the day, everyone needs to remember that if you're religious, God made you perfectly. Like, God literally made you in his image, and God makes no mistakes. So, and the thing is, like, beauty standards always change. They're consistently changing. Like, if we're looking back to the early 2000s and like late 90s, like, the supermodel skinny figure was in shape until God knows when, and then it switched over to like the BBLs, like the wide hips, big bums, big boobs, and all of this stuff. And then now it's like the lip fillers and all of this, and then like people are slowly going back to the like skinny slim build with like the whole Ozempic things and everything. So again, it's just like, if you try change yourself to meet every beauty standard, you're never going to be truly happy and confident in yourself. And again, I know it's hard being a young girl, and especially if you're still in like school and everything, and you're seeing all these other girls that, and especially like guys, I feel like guys really do play. I'm saying guys because I'm straight and I only speak to men, so I don't really know how it is from like another gender's perspective. But yeah, you'll get guys, and let's say you're talking to a guy and you go through his followings and you see that everyone that he's following has this like BBL Kim Kardashian type of body, and you're like, oh, I don't look like that. First of all, Kim Kardashian, I love Kim Kardashian down, the Kardashians down. You can never say anything bad about them. But Kim respectfully paid for her body. She paid for her bum. She has all these body enhancements, and Kim works out every single day. She does these crazy intense workouts. So it's like, did Kim Kardashian look like that at the age of 14? No, she didn't. So it's like, you being 14, comparing yourself to someone that's 43, I think she is, just isn't really realistic. And again, you shouldn't let other people, why can't I think of the word? You shouldn't let other people basically base how you feel about yourself, because it's not fair on you. And like, your body is nice, and again, like, do that thing that I was talking about, wake up in the morning or like during the day and be like, I really like my body today, like I really like the way that I look. And people are going to say horrible things all the time on social media, so you really should not let that get to you. And another way to like kind of deal with feeling more confident in your body is dressing for your body type. Trust me, this really goes a long way. And if you don't really know what I mean by this, so I'll take me for example. If you've watched my like clothing haul videos, you can kind of see the way that I'm built. But if you don't, I've got like the hourglass figure, if we want to call it that. So I find that with me, if I'm wearing a dress, it's more flattering for me to wear like a bodycon dress type, or like a midi like maxi dress, because that like flatters my body shape, rather than me wearing like a mini dress that kind of cuts me off. Or if I'm wearing jeans, I'll go for a more low rise jean because I have a short torso. And it's so hard to like see whether you have a long or short torso, but because I'm very into fashion and all of that, I can kind of tell like my body proportions. But you can go on TikTok and you can go on Google and you can kind of like use it as a reference. But yeah, so I have a short torso, so that I know that wearing low rise and like longer tops look nice on me, or like low rise and a crop top looks better on me because it elongates my torso and gives the illusion of a longer torso. And like, even if you're like more on like the curvier, bigger side, then you know, oh, like I'll avoid wearing blah blah blah. Like, again, you can wear whatever you want, but if you are trying to like work on your body confidence and you feel like I'm wearing everything, nothing looks nice on me, I hate my body, I don't look like this, honestly, go look into dressing for your body type, and it really does help wearing things that flatter you. It will like take your confidence from like here to here, and like that's just the first step. So that's a tip from me. Let's see the next question. Okay, so the next question is how to deal with period cramps. And oh yeah, so the next questions are how to deal with period cramps and how old were you when you got your first period. I'm gonna answer the second question first, and then we'll go into how I deal with period cramps. So I feel like I got my period really young, because I got my period in that summer between finishing year 6 and starting year 7, and I was 11 at the time. Yeah, you are 11 at that time. Yeah, so I didn't really know what it was. I remember we had like people come in and do talks, but I never really understood it. And then I had a friend who got her period at like 9 years old, and I remember her trying to like explain it to us, but like none of us had any clue what she was talking about. But yeah, so I was quite young when I got mine, so it was just very much like learning how to deal with that. And obviously like I don't know, because I've had my period, oh my gosh, how many years has it been since I've had my period? 9 years. Yeah, I've had my period for 9 years now. So it's like, again, like in the early days, you'll have like days where you like leak through your pads and everything. I should have said TMI, trigger warning, TMI. Like you have those days where you'll leak through your pads and maybe there'll be like blood on your bed or whatever, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed. And then like obviously when you're at school and you don't want to make like a massive deal, like because I went to an all-girls school, it wasn't too bad, but like let's say you go to a mixed school and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing if I ask the teacher to go to the toilet to change my pad or whatever. But it's better to go to the toilet to change your pad rather than sit there in blood and feel uncomfortable. Like you do not want that, and like God forbid you leak through and then now you've got like blood on the table. But yeah, so how to deal with period cramps. I get really bad period cramps. So do not be like me. If you feel like you have bad period cramps, go to your GP, go to your doctor, go to whoever and speak to them about your options. Because with mine, I never used to get bad period cramps. So my periods used to be 3 days long, no cramps, easy, smooth, breezy. They weren't too heavy. And then I don't know what switched. One time I got really bad cramps. I could not move, talk. I was in tears. And like now it comes and goes, but they've been like a little bit more frequent over the years. And my cramps are normally like really bad, like really bad first day, second day-ish, and then they kind of go away around like the third day. But my periods kind of got longer, and I don't know if this is the case for anyone else. Like if it is, let me know down in the comments below. But again, I probably should go to the GP. Like the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, yeah, this is kind of weird. But how to deal with cramps. One, obviously take medication, and the medications I like to take is paracetamol, or if you can get anything prescribed by the doctor, like stronger period cramp medications, then that will be good. Or if you've spoken to your GP, doctor, whatever, and they told you to go on the pill, then obviously you can take them. I would avoid taking ibuprofen just because, I can't remember, does it give you ulcers? It does something to you that it's not good to take too much of ibuprofen over time. But if you're like me, which sometimes my cramps are so bad that no medication works, probably go to your GP, because it might be something worse, or like it might be, yeah, just go to your GP and then you can like go from there. But usually I can kind of get away with taking paracetamol, like it will numb some of the pain and then I can still function. But if your periods are getting to the point where your cramps are getting to the point where it's affecting the way you function, you really should go to the GP. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And also what helps me is like the week before starting my period, I'll drink loads of water, because naturally I'm dehydrated because I do not drink enough water. Well, not even just water, like I just don't hydrate myself enough during the day. So drink a lot of water. This really does help me. And some people like to use hot water bottles, so you can buy one, and they're very inexpensive. You can literally go to like your local like cheaper like Poundland type store and get yourself a hot water bottle and just put that on, and you can sleep with that. Or if you're at home all day, then you can just kind of have it around you. Some people like taking baths. I don't really like taking baths because the idea of sitting in my own blood is just not a no from me. But again, that helps some people. Or like getting in the shower can help other people. Some people like to do exercise and that takes their mind off it, or like distracting yourself sometimes can take away that, or simply just going to sleep. Like if you can afford to take naps during the day, sometimes take a nap during the day, and sometimes you'll wake up feeling much better, and then you can take a paracetamol again if your cramps are still there. But that is my advice. That's how I deal with my cramps at my big grown age of 20. So the next question is, oh my gosh, we're getting into like the dating aspect. So the next question is, am I in a relationship? Nope. My love life is so, why have I gone a bit quiet? I don't know, I get so awkward speaking about my love life, but I don't have a love life. I've never been in a relationship, and I am, as I said, I'm 20 years old. And to some people, they're probably thinking, have you never been in a relationship? My thing is, I just don't get, like for me, the idea of like dating around just does not do anything for me. And it takes me a lot. It takes a lot for me to like a person. I can't just see someone and be like, oh yeah, like I really like them. Because to me, I have to find the person attractive, and I have to like their personality as well. Because you can be very good looking, but if we can't banter, or if you're not a nice person, or if I don't like your morals and stuff like this, it won't go anywhere. And also I feel like I've got high standards. I've always had high standards, so as soon as someone doesn't tick my boxes, I'm like, why am I going to put myself through all of this stress, because I know later down the line it's only going to cause problems, so you might as well quit whilst you're still ahead. So yeah, that's just a little bit of background on me. Next question is how to talk to a guy. Me doing, like, if my friends were watching this, by the way, my friends don't know that I have YouTube, and the day that they find my channel I'm gonna have to do so much explaining, but I like the idea of having my channel to myself for a little bit until like it kind of blows up, and then I'll be like, hey guys, I have a YouTube channel, blah blah blah. But anyways, yeah, so as I was saying, how to talk to a guy. Me and talking to, like, I can talk to people, and because I went to an all-girls school, it's really awkward and hard for me to speak to men, just because I really haven't had to interact with men for like the past 7-8 years of my life. So it's awkward, but I can speak to people that I'm not attracted to. If I find you attractive, oh my days, it's so awkward for me. Like, I'm literally sweating, hyperventilating. I'm literally thinking of the next thing to say in my head. Like, it'll come across as I'm very cool, collected, like whatever, don't care, yeah, but inside my heart is literally going ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Like, that's how bad it is. But if we're talking making the first move, my classic go-to is, let's say this is on Instagram, let's say they followed me and they've liked a picture of mine. I'll go on their page. If they have multiple pictures, then I'll like 3 pictures. Sometimes you can do like the 3 most recent ones, or you can do like 3 random ones, so they know that, okay, like she's been checking out my page, whatever. And then you leave it, so you've liked your 3 pictures, or if they've only got like 1 picture, then you can just like the 1. So once you've liked the pictures, they should come back and either like more of your pictures, or they should send you a message. And this works like 98% of the time. Yeah, well, all the times that I've tried it, it's worked, but obviously if we're being realistic, we'll say like 95% of the time that works. Or if you want to be a little bit more bolder, you guys have now followed each other, whatever, like you followed him back, and then, or followed them back, like their story, and it has to be of them, or it can be on like their highlights or something like that. So it's like, oh, like, damn, blah blah blah. Oh my gosh, actually, if you want to show someone that you're interested, the best way is if they post a recent picture of themselves, let it like die down for a bit, and like once people start liking it, then go in and like it, like whether that's 23 hours after they posted a picture, 2 days after. So as soon as you like it, your notification is going to be right at the top, and they'll be like, oh, like, Nisha likes my picture, like what the hell, blah blah blah, and then they'll go on your page, and then conversations start that way. But if you're even more bold, simply message them, like just be like, hey, hi, how are you doing, blah blah blah. But then I feel like that's a bit scary, like even for me, that is so scary. I can only text men when I know that they like me back, because I just have a fear of the fear of the unknown. So yeah, like I'm not about to message someone and then they're just like, oh, like, why is she messaging me? I would actually cry. But you know, again, this is all the intrusive thoughts speaking. But is it even intrusive thoughts? I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Another way that you can speak to a guy is by replying to their story. And let's say this is Snapchat or Instagram again, because I don't know if people speak to people on TikTok, because if someone finds me on TikTok, I would expect them to find me on like my Instagram. But anyways, yeah, so Instagram, Snapchat, they posted something, and let's say it's like a quote from like Justin LaBoy. Is it Justin LaBoy or Justin LA Boy, or like one of those like banter meme pages? Snap back with a laughing face, or snap back with something that you can relate saying, so you can kind of see a little bit of your personality, and they're like, oh, like, right. And then again, conversations start from there. Like, just look for any ways that you can make conversations. If you want to make the first move, but you don't want to make it known that you like them, you kind of want it to be like, does she like me, does she not? So yeah, that's my advice. Next one is how to deal with being ghosted. This is crazy. I'm trying to think, have I been I probably have, but in terms of, again, because I haven't really liked people or like been in a relationship, I can't really like say too much. But from people, like, let's say you've spoken to someone, you thought things were going really well, and then all of a sudden they've just stopped messaging you. 9 times out of 10, they've lost interest. And like that one time out of 10 is probably because something happened. So you could make the effort to message them and be like, oh, like, hey, we haven't spoken in a while, how are you? Or like even simply just pop up saying hey, or like send them something if you don't want to actually have a conversation with them. So like, let's say it's on TikTok, you see a video that they may like, you send it to them, and if they reply, you can kind of see their energy through that. Or if they don't reply and they've read it, then you know, okay, like they don't like me anymore. And then the same way, like if you message them saying like, hey, we haven't spoken in a while, if they don't reply to your message, take long to reply to your message, then you can kind of like pick up on those signs. Do not ignore these signs, because again, these will be red flags down the line, and then you'll be crying and thinking, why did I ignore these red flags? But yeah, so if you feel like they've ghosted you, and like let's say this is someone you really liked, the worst thing you can do is harass them. Like if you know that things are done and they don't like you anymore and they've like moved on, let's say, do not message them. And I know it's going to take everything in you to not want to pick up your phone and message them, but do not. Trust me, you will thank yourself for not messaging them. And again, if it means talking to your friends about that same situation 50 times over, do that. If it means picking up a new hobby, that's another thing. Like I feel like sometimes people speak to people or get into relationships literally because they need to fill a void in their life. They need to fill that gap of boredom that they have in their life. So if that's you, pick up a new hobby, like whether that's going out for walks, running, swimming, baking, cleaning, listening to music, binge watching shows. Do that. And like anything that can get your mind off it, because it's not worth it. And again, don't beat yourself up over it. Like at the end of the day, not everyone you speak to is going to be like your long life partner. So like, don't beat yourself up about it, especially if you're still young. You have your whole life ahead of you to find someone. And even if you're like much older than I am, your person will come along. Like if that person was really meant for you, would they ghost you? No. So like, look at it in the sense that they missed out on you and they fumbled, and just kind of move on and like just do things that make you feel you again and that pick you up. So even if that's like doing your makeup in the mirror and like being like, yeah, like I look amazing today, or like going out and having friends, like life moves on, and don't let that one thing stop you from living your life.